Well, good morning. Hey, good to see you. I'm Jim Sunderwirth from my swing here at the house. And just as I was thinking about it today, I just think, you know, this is the day, this is the day that the Lord has made. The Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day, this is the day that the Lord has made. That song's been around a while, but it's going to be around a lot longer because it's scripture. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Even when we're going through some situations that we really might not understand. That's where Joseph is right now. We're talking about Joseph. We're talking about these last 13 or 14 chapters in Genesis where it talks about a young man. And now this young man has come to see his brothers, thought he'd be accepted and have a warm getting back together. And lo and behold, he finds himself on his way to Egypt with the Ishmaelites. I imagine about this time he wasn't singing "This is the day the Lord has made." He was singing, and I feel that way too sometimes, don't you? I mean, you're facing something the day before didn't go like you thought it was going to go, and you're looking toward the day, and it doesn't look like it's going to be a good day. But that's the time. James says that's the time when you fall into diverse temptations. That's when you rejoice. Mm-hmm. That's when you rejoice. I would hope that Joseph, and I'm sure he had such confidence in his dream that he would even be saying possibly, I don't understand this, but I know one thing. God gave me that dream. I didn't dream that up just myself. He gave me that dream, and that's going to be fulfilled. You know what? God said that he would order your steps, and he will, and it's going to be fulfilled. We've got to believe that no matter what we face. And here Joseph is been taken by the Ishmaelites. They're heading for Egypt, and he's gone. But back at the camp, Reuben comes back. Now Joseph is gone. Reuben comes back. I don't know where he was. He was out checking the sheep when all this happened as far as the Ishmaelites. He returns, and Joseph was not in the pit. And he tore his clothes. It dawned on him. Somehow he thought that if he put him in that pit, then he was going the way. He could double back probably and get him out of the pit and take him home. That's probably what he thought. But all of a sudden now he's gone. What are they going to do? All they have now is the robe. So they tore the robe up and they killed a kid and put blood all over it. And so they took his tunic, killed a kid of the goats, dripped it on the tunic, and they sent the tunic of many colors. And they brought it to their father and said, "We have found this. Do you know whether it's your son's tunic or not?" What? Of course he knew it was his son's. They were trying, Jacob had the spirit of deception for a long time. And God delivered him and told him that he was now going to be governed of God. But that spirit was on his sons. They were deceivers. They manipulated people. They manipulated things. The same spirit that had been on Jacob was now on his sons because they didn't rebuke that spirit. They didn't clean it from the house, I guess, because there he was, deceiving his own father about his son. So we look at this, and so they said, and they brought it to the father, and they said, "My son's tunic, a wild beast has devoured him. Without doubt, Joseph is torn to pieces." They didn't say it, did they? They let the father say it. Oh, he just assumed. He just assumed that was going to happen. That's what happened. But then he said in the down a little farther, he said, "And the sons and the daughters rose to comfort him. He refused to be comforted. For I shall go down to my grave." To my son in mourning, with my son in mourning. Thus the father wept for him. Here's one thing. The father, at this moment of his grief, forgot the promise of the dream. Remember, the dream said, "You will bow down before me." The sons will bow down. They're going to bow down before me. He forgot that he was going to see his son again. God said he would see him again. he's going to bow before him. He forgot it. He said it was over. He got so messed up in his grief, he forgot the promise. Don't ever get so down in your grief that you forget the promise that I am the resurrection and the life. He that liveth in me and believeth in me shall never die. We don't have to do that. We can live in the promises and be pulled out of our grief for sure. So in your grief, keep your eye on the promise, the dream. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.